sec. No, I got it. It's okay. So,
Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NRL Supercoach Off the Bench podcast, round 8 TLT. Today I'm joined by our usual suspect, Brad. Welcome, Brad. How are you?
Hey, g'day guys. G'day everybody out there. If anybody's going to tune in live, always shoot us a question, why don't you? I haven't even looked at these team lists yet, so we're going to be doing this completely off the cuff, and we've got no idea what's going to hit us. Let's have a look at these games, Ross?
How good is it? We got Anzac Day. We've got 3 games, Brad. Mate, I can't wait. And I've got Friday off too, and I'm gonna play some 2-up, and it's just gonna be a big day.
Yeah, go get effed. I'm working, by the way. That means that my presence is required elsewhere at my place of work. So I work through all the carnage, I'm afraid.
Oh boy, you're gonna get the fun stuff. All right, let's rip in. Warriors and the Titans is the first game on Anzac Day. So for the Warriors, Kurt Capewell is out injured. He'll be replaced by Jacob Laban in the starting side. Dylan Walker returns from injury on the bench, and Alan Pompey drops out, and Zayun Mayu, he makes his debut off the bench. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that again, Brad.
I think it's Zion Mayu.
Oh, there you go. You done better than me. Yeah. And for the Titans, no changes. For Fiedel against named to start, but obviously there'll be a late switch there again. And Philip Sammy and Palacia both stay on the sideline injured. Next game, which should be an absolute belter, Brad. Actually, sorry, before we go on, Supercoach relevance for this game. Anyone you're liking here? Obviously, with Ponga gone, what's your thoughts on CNK as an option?
Oh, I love him. I think he should be one of your top 2 picks to bring in. That's my personal opinion. I mean, there's going to be a million different opinions around, but there really is only a couple of options.
Yeah.
And CNK doesn't have a huge high ceiling as some of the others. That's your only problem. The other benefit, though, is he's been very consistent since he's come back. But he has had SJ giving him good ball, etc. Some nice balls out the back. It's all going to really hang on SJ, whether he plays or not. There's big rumours around. Keep your ear to the final team list before they are released. But yes, he is definitely playing injured. So let's see where that all ends up, eh?
The only thing is, looking at this extended bench, Brad, I don't see any half on there. That's the only thing. You got Tuapiki, Pompey, Kossi. I don't know where Stowell Smith plays. I've never heard of him. And Lay Tua as well, which I think he's a prop or a back rower. So
what's Roach?
Oh well, Roach is a utility on the bench, isn't he? But I'm presuming that CHT's injured, is he? Harris Tavita, because he's not named.
Yeah, well, he must be because he's not named, but it's just funny. You've got Paul Roach and you've got Dylan Walker. So you're going to a game with 2 utilities on your bench. So you're certainly looking for some forward action there.
Yeah.
Mitch Barnett, lovers, I reckon you're going to get plenty of good minutes out of him this weekend. And we've got no idea about Jacob Laban. So
he played a bit off the bench, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I didn't really see much of him, so I don't really know a lot about him.
Yep.
Roger Two have asked to check, Brad. Would you be selling him if you didn't have any other major problems? Or for me, I don't own him and I never have, but I just feel like if you can score 50 points without any attacking stats, I don't think it's the end of the world.
No, yeah, he certainly does look to be a bit of a hold. He certainly, I mean, let's face it, he didn't cost you an arm and a leg, and he's not really bleeding huge cash.
Yeah.
But he's not really setting the house on fire either. Surely this week you've got bigger problems. Surely. Because there are other problems out there. But, if that's your biggest problem, well, yes, there are some centres starting to come nice and cheap in price. Although next week they're going to be even cheaper still. Yeah. So next week could be a big week if you're going to hold this week and then maybe go next week.
Dave Fafita, Brad's just been killing it. Obviously scored that try from dummy half last week as well. Yeah, what's your thoughts on him? Would you be bringing him in this week if you could, or do you think you'd be waiting a bit longer?
Oh, yeah. Personally, I've got other problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we all started with so many mid ranges in the second row. It's very difficult. I've managed to get got in a little while ago, but look, I'd love to have him. But looking at the draw and that sort of thing, I think post Origin probably looks more likely because there's a lot of buys and a bit of action there for the Titans. It's not too friendly. And I still expect him to get an Origin spot. So
yeah,
I think, to jump on him in the next couple of weeks might be a real risky move if he does play Origin. And there's about 2 or 3 buys, I think, before then that he's got to suffer through the Origin period. And then, so when I had a look at it, I did mark down in my diary he was an after Origin purchase probably more than anything.
All right, we'll move on to the next game, which should be an absolute belter. Always seems to be. It's the Dragons versus the Roosters. Dragons home game being played at Allianz. I'm not sure why they're playing it there. I guess that's where they always play it. It's probably why. For the Dragons, no changes. Jack Bird's been named on the extended bench, coming back from his head knock. Dom Young comes back for suspension, replacing Michael Jennings, who drops out. Suwali goes back to the centres. Sam Walker comes back from his concussion. And Connor Watson reverts back to the bench, and Zach Docker Clay drops out. Brad, any interested in this game? Obviously, Zach Lomax has been killing it. I feel bad because I did put in my article last week not to buy him because he was playing in centres, and he proved me completely wrong.
Look, I've got him. I own him. He's the highest averaging player so far, I think. Well, actually, I think he's got the most amount of points, so far this year in Supercoach. He's not the highest averaging. He has the most amount of points because he's managed to play every game so far. I have him, and thank Christ I have. Yeah, nothing. I got nothing. If you got Kyle Flanagan, you got to ditch him this week. Really, you do. But beyond that, there's not really a great deal of relevance. I see Raymond Patel Mariners getting another start. His price should start to go up again soon, surely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you think so, yeah.
But apart from that, no.
For the Roosters, obviously a couple of ones here. I've got Manu. I'm pretty happy with him. James Tedesco, sorry, Brad's another interesting one. There's a potential pod option to replace Ponga. Just started drop a leak of cash and only about 5% owned. Thoughts on him?
Look, I don't. Yeah, I was an owner. I sold him. I'm not unhappy that I sold him because I sold him obviously at the peak, and he's got probably another 2 weeks of price drops anyway, till I would have considered him to be relevant, and he'd probably be available around 600 in a couple of weeks' time. Very similar to where, obviously Walsh is now.
And the other one, obviously, to keep an eye on the next couple of weeks, Brad, is Dom Young, obviously coming back from his suspension. We've seen what he can do and what he can do to frigging hurt the shit out of us too, mind you. But I just think I'm pretty sure they cover 2 of the main 3 buys. So if he drops enough, he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yep, he's one of those ones that has a massive target on him. But yes, he's still got a little bit to drop yet. But when he does, maybe next week or the week after, yeah, definite.
And for those, I know I've had a lot of messages, Brad, about Terrell May. Do I sell him? What do I do? I think, in my opinion, he's a hold. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of cash. And you got to remember too, he's most likely going to start 2 of those Origin games too, because they do play 2 of the major buys. So with Collins out, you'd imagine he comes into the starting side.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. Probably the biggest, thing I'll point out, and actually one of our cohorts here off the bench has pointed this out to me probably about 10 times already. Guy, big shout out to you, but everybody owns him. So there's not really a huge value in selling somebody that everybody owns for such an amount. We're all stuck with the same problem.
Yeah.
And you've probably got bigger problems than that. He's going along at about a PPM of 1.2, 1.3. Yeah, which is friggin' fantastic. Robbo, wake up to yourself and give the guy some minutes. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he's definitely got the PPM. It's just the minutes.
Yeah.
All right, last of the Anzac Day games. It's the Storm versus the Rabbitohs. For the Storm, they're unchanged. They may do the late switch like they did last time, where Nash started off the bench and Welsh started. For the Rabbitohs, Cook's been recalled after being completely dropped, and he will start at hooker. Mambaloscu moves back to the bench. Joey Arrow's back from his shoulder injury. Cam Murray's completed his protocols and will play. Totola's gone for 3 months with a foot injury, so Shaq starts. And Jacob Gagai comes onto the wing for Tyron Munro, which would be frustrating for a few owners, Brad, because I'm pretty sure most would have sold him to probably Iro.
Yep.
But again, it's not a great matchup either for them against the Storm.
No, not the Storm at home. You'd
No.
never, if you can avoid it, don't play any South Sydney players this week.
What's your thoughts on Chuck Mitchell, Brad? With Totola out 3 months, he's been looking pretty solid. What do you have any interest in him at all?
No.
No.
No. Well, you have a look at that bench. You know, Davey Moore will come on through the middle there. Joy Arrow will probably play around about 50 odd minutes through the middle as well. The old Moore can play quite a few minutes. I could see Shaq honestly getting 30 odd minutes, 30 minutes there. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for what you really want. You're probably better off with Joy Arrow.
Any interest from anyone for the Storm for this game? Because this could be anything this tour, Brad. Let's be honest. I mean, if you got Pappenhausen, just hold him for this game. I know a few people have messaged me and saying, "Oh, should I sell?" I said no, definitely not for this matchup. I'd be holding. Storm got a really good match, good draw coming up soon too, so he could be a very big pod for this one. But if you are looking for an Uber pod for this game, I really like Xavier Coates here, Brad. Going up against Jacob Gagai, he could do anything this game.
Well, there's quite a few players. I mean, I have Harry Grant, and I got Joe Chan, but I won't be playing him. But good to see Joe Chan get some time back again. He'll probably, what did he get, nearly 30 minutes off the bench last week. I reckon he'll probably replicate that. One I've got my eye on big time is Nick Meaney. I think his BE is still about 115. So that should come crashing down even further. He's yet another centre, a gun centre that should be available over the origin period for under 600,000. I mean, man, I'm going to be jumping that as soon as I possibly can. Jerome Hughes is playing for a contract, as we have heard, at another club. There's big whispers around, and when players play for contracts at other clubs, they always seem to go for flying. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes okay. Cameron Munster's playing busted. Don't go anywhere near him. Sean Bloor has that edge spot. So, yeah.
I don't think there's any much else here, Brad, is there? I don't think.
No, not really.
Friday night, we've just got the one game, which is Brad Shaw Manly versus Parramatta at 4 Pines. Let's have a quick look here. For Manly, Aioli comes back from suspension. Matt Lodge goes back to the bench. Aaron Wood's back to 18th man. Nathan Brown is back from injury, and Dean Madison drops out. For the Eels, Ethan Sanders will make his NRL debut at 5'8" in the place of Dejan Arce. Sivo's been recalled to the side. Sam Russell's been dropped. And then the bench, oh God, I do not like this at all. Kalamatangi, Brendan Hands, and Makatoa. Jesus, Brendan Hands on the bench. I mean, I know we've seen it before. He only got 5 minutes, and I know that Lassik's been still playing 80 minutes, but hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. And then Blaze Talangi and Lika Moretti dropped to the reserves.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Look, I grew up going to these Parramatta games in the late 70s, early 80s. The Brookwell Oval, they were cracking affairs. They sitting on the hill and watching the absolute rain of Chewy's cans come down on the on the unsuspecting Parramatta jerseys as they walk by, and they'd have their umbrellas up trying to protect themselves as everybody pelted. And they were great times, you know. You can't do what we used to do years ago, but they were. watching the likes of Graham Eading and Phil Blake do chip and chases there, or you're in one game as well as Parramatta. They're great stuff to see.
Couple I want to
so
speak about, sorry, Brad, just quickly, is Turbo. Obviously, he's probably going to be a great VC option for this game. Your thoughts? He hasn't really got going this year. So my question to you is, if you don't own Turbo and you're selling Ponga, would you be going to Turbo, or would you be going to Walsh or C&K instead?
No, I don't. You got a coin? One thing Turbo will give you, he'll give you more consistency.
Yeah.
Than what Reece Walsh will. Reece Walsh will have a high ceiling here and there. So he will rip out 140. We know Turbo can too, but he also does have he has the base that Reece Walsh doesn't have. So if you want a bit of base, Tommy will give you that. What they're doing there at the moment is that they're actually cutting him out an awful lot. So he's running a lot of decoy plays. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yep.
But yeah, he's running a lot of decoys, and they're going Harbour Bridge passes over the top to Saab, etc. While Turbo's running through on the inside, which is catching a lot of them out because their defences are squeezing in on Turbo and leaving wingers unmarked, etc. I don't know how long that sort of play is going to continue, or whether they're going to wake up to it. But of course, the minute they start staying out, that's going to leave gaps for Turbo, and he's going to be a nice bullet fire. So, I know 2 tries for nearly 90 points last week sounds a bit crazy. We all thought that he'd probably get up to 130 the rate he was going, but as I said, they're running a lot of those block plays and cutout passes and things like that past him at the moment. So,
next one I want to talk about just quickly is Jason Saab. It's a bit of a pot option. What's your thoughts on him?
Oh, well, yeah, the grasshopper, he's going well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Garrick's obviously another one who's going to be juicy in about 2 weeks' time as well, Brad. Dropped about 100K this week with another high break even of over 100.
Yep.
Luke Brooks, your mate Luke Brooks. What are we doing with Luke Brooks, Brad? With a break even of 66, playing against Parramatta, do you think he's a definite sell this week? I know you are. I'm pretty sure, aren't you?
No.
No?
No, I don't think I am, actually. I've had a good look at it, and I've thought, well, I've got other problems, and really 66 break even, we'll probably get 50, lose another 10 grand or so. Like, it's not really something I'll have to cry about. The 5'8" is just a basket case of a position at the present time. And if Brooks is about as bad as everybody else in the position, except for Max Plath, but we'll get to that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, if you want to sell him, there's no right or wrong on that one. No.
And not Big Ola's the last one, Brad. I mean, if you do it, I wouldn't hold anything against anyone bringing Ola in.
Oh, hell no. He's elite. He's one of there's about 5 of them that are elite this year, and he's right up there with them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else, Brad, before we move on?
No, not really. Ryan Madison's interesting, but nobody would have him as a relevant Supercoach option.
It's hard though because Cardi's out, and I don't know why he's out, or if he's been dropped or what's happened. Like, he's just not there at all. There's no mention of an injury or anything.
Well, of course, the one they should drop is Brad Arthurs himself.
Isn't it interesting, Brad? We should just talk about that for a minute. There's absolutely been no pressure on him whatsoever for his position. They just re-signed him as a coach for another 2 years, which I think he's got 1 year after this year. But no talk about him.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't, Jason Dimitri over there at South. I don't like South either. I like Parramatta less, but I got looking at it completely unbiased, right? Dimitri has had a wretched start to the year, and anybody that follows the coach that he has had to follow has always had a very hard time.
Yeah.
There are certain things that just haven't gone his way. Now, that's not to say his job should be saved.
Yeah.
But why is all the pressure being placed on him and no pressure gets placed on Brad Arthur? 10 years of abject failure, just about. Really, the pressure should be well and truly on him because he does have a hell of a football team there in front of him. If he gets them going, they're good.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. All right, next game. Oh, God, the Tigers versus the Broncos, Brad. Holy shit. I've just had a look at the lineup for the Broncos and yeah, far out. For the Tigers, Junior Tupu's out with a broken foot. So Solomon Ayamolo will make his debut on the wing. Another interesting one is Frank Polo's been benched. So John Bateman's playing lock. So he's another one to keep an eye on, Brad. Samuel Afenu, absolutely smashing it off the bench. And he's starting on an edge this week. So I'm interested to see how he goes. If he gets 80 minutes on an edge, he's getting anywhere from 50, 60 points off the bench at the moment. He looks good, Brad. Loves an offload too.
Yep. If I had a boost up my sleeve, which I've got some, but if I had, if I'd only used a couple of boosts so far this year, I would be using one right here this week to get this bloke in. That's how important I think, how much cash he's probably going to make and how vital he's going to be to this team going forward.
Yeah, I've got some cash in the bank. I might have a look and see whether it's worthwhile. But if I do boost this week, I've only got one left, and I don't know if I want to leave one left. But I do know people who's burned through all these already, so I'm not doing that bad. No. Right, for the Broncos. So Meehan and Cobbo have been rested. Arthur moves to the centres. Mariner's back from injury. So Jock Madden shifts to 5/8 as with Adam Reynolds back. Payne Haas is back, Brad. Piakura's back. Tristan Saylor, despite the fact that old matey Walter said that he's going to be on the bench for every game, he's not there. So you bench is Smoothie, Willison, Hetherington, and Fletcher Baker.
Yeah, interesting bench there. You've basically got three middles, no edges. That tells me that Piakura and Jordan Ricky both will be playing 80 minutes. For those people who held on to Piakura all this time, me being one, that's bloody good news because I think he's in for an 80-minute spell there. And I would like some extra cash out of him if I could, please. Might even play him this week. So, yeah, that's my only thoughts really on that.
Thoughts on Haas? Would you be bringing him back in now, or do you want to keep a bit of a look at him first, give him a game or two first, or what?
Well, as I just indicated, three middles on your bench tells me that they're going to keep Haas pretty safe.
Yeah.
That I actually wouldn't mind betting that he plays about 40 minutes and as I said, three middles. That's a fair whack on the bench there.
Yeah. Anyone else that you reckon want to speak about here? Obviously, Stefano's had a bit of a drop in minutes last week, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Looking at the bench this week, I mean, you've got Twal, Pole, Seafaf, and Fainu. He should get pretty decent minutes again. I know you're an owner.
Yeah, I'm an owner. I think you're right with Big Steph. Well, I guess we haven't spoken about it, and it's hard to because everybody is speaking about it. So everybody's got an opinion on whether you should bring in Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh, 600K, just over 600. You go from Ponga down to him, you're getting yourself nearly 250K or something. It seems to make sense. It's the most obvious choice. If you want to go for the obvious, here's the obvious. There's another couple that are a bit, you do have a bit of upside. The only downside to Walsh, like we spoke about at the beginning, was he does have that, he can have a shocker.
Yeah.
Plenty of times we've seen him on single-digit figures at half time thinking, holy shit. And he will put in some of those games at times.
I've actually traded him in this week, Brad, and I don't think I've ever owned him before. So there's been plenty of times where I've cursed him and gone, oh shit, he's only on 13 at half time, you beautiful. But, but now it's like, well, we know we can do in one or two plays. He's like Latrell 2.0, mate. Except for the fact that Walsh does get more involved. Latrell's just lazy.
Yeah. He is, those bringing him in, don't forget what you're doing, and I probably am going to be one. You're bringing him in for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then selling him. So you bring him in for 200, hopefully gets up to around about 800, piss him off just on the cusp of origin and go elsewhere. But that would be my plan anyway, and that should be everyone else's plan.
That's it. It'll be a nice trade to a Joey Manu or a Garrick or anyone like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, next game, Cowboys versus the Panthers. For the Cowboys, Griffin Ime starts. Lolo goes back to the bench. Jet Ski drops out. And Thomas McKaylee comes onto the bench. For the Panthers, Cleary returns for his first game since round 3. Snyder drops out of the side. Taylor May comes back in, plays back in the centres after E5 for personal reasons. So, despite the fact he had a blinder, Almonte drops out. Yeah. Now, Brad, obviously the big talking points, Nathan Cleary, second highest traded in this week. I'm bringing him in at this stage, but I do have concerns, like everyone else should, that I think this happened, was it late last year or the year before? He had a hamstring injury. I had the cash there. I used my last trade to bring him back in, thinking it's going to be a pod play because hardly anyone owned him, and it took him at least 2 or 3 games to get going. So it is a risk, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there is. It is a risk. It just depends upon your team makeup and what you've got. You might want him to partner Hines. I've got Hines and Hughes, so I don't see any point in selling Hughes at the moment to go to Cleary. So I'm more than willing to sit back and just watch. But yeah, if you've got SJ and Hines, you might be exactly the same boat. You go, well, man, I should just sit back and watch what's going to happen. Otherwise, it's completely sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the Warriors have got a good draw coming up too as well. So, you know, I don't think you have to get Cleary this week, but obviously he's going to be highly traded in. Drinkwater's another option, Brad, for those who want to sell Ponga. They've got a really good draw coming up after these next couple of games as well.
Yeah, certainly nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I really haven't looked at him because he's not priced. Yeah, not priced right for it just yet. But yeah.
And obviously Dylan Edwards. Wouldn't begrudge anyone bringing Edwards as a pod option either to replace Ponga.
Yeah, we all should have just woken up to ourselves. We all love Dylan Edwards, and we know it. You know, he's very good, and been under. We haven't considered him enough for Supercoach. Let me put it that way. In times gone past.
And the other one I just want to quickly touch on, Brad, is Isaac Targo. He's a bit expensive at the moment, but starting to leak a heap of cash. Another one that could be a good option for that round 12, 13 sort of area.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else?
Same with Brian. Well, if Brian Toto doesn't get named for Origin, he also will come into that.
He should though, shouldn't he?
Oh, who knows? It's mad. I don't know. You know, it's mad. It's a brand new era, brand new year.
Like the last couple I want to touch on, Scotty Sorensen's going to be watched too, Brad. I think guys pretty keen on him. I think he's definitely one to watch. Yep. And the other one that's just killing it week in and week out that we just never seem to get on, Brad, is Isaiah Yeo. Just another massive game from him on the weekend.
Yeah, another one that you start the year, and I mean, but we all went with so many mids in the second row, so we just didn't have room.
Yeah.
But if we could have made room, we probably should have, and we would be laughing right now. But yeah.
Anyone else, Brad, in this game?
No, not really.
No. All right. Let's move on then. Sunday, 2:00, we've got the Dolphins versus the Knights. Dolphins were very impressive last week, Brad. Against Parramatta, pulled on 7 tries, I think it was, in about 20 minutes. So for the Dolphins, just one change. Kurt Donahue returns from suspension. He comes onto the bench. Sean O'Sullivan drops to the reserves. Knights, Ponga's out, obviously, with his injury. He's gone 2 to 3 months. David Armstrong gets the opportunity to take over at fullback. Gagai comes back from his calf injury. And Jed Cartwright comes onto the bench, replacing Jack Cartwright, who's suspended for his naughty little tussle with Reed Marnie in the tunnel, Brad.
How ridiculous. They both were laughing, for Christ's sake.
I know.
They all thought it was a hoot. We thought it was funny as well.
You sort of stand there going up to him, and I'm like, oh, surely this is piss take, isn't it? Like, you know.
They were pissing themselves.
Right. Let's talk Supercoach, eh? Let's talk who was going to talk about? Jack Bostock's obviously a hold. He's got a negative break even this week. Katoa's another one that is very interesting too, but I don't know, maybe at 5'8", not at halfback. JMK for the round 13 buys, another one to keep an eye on, and Maxi Plathbrad as well.
Yeah, the two I think Max Plath is going to get beyond me unless I put him into 5'8", maybe next week. That could be an option. Considering our problems at 5'8", you could do a lot worse this year. The one I'm really interested in is JMK. At the moment, I've got poor old Levi and Harry Grant. So at some point, I'm going to have to make some decisions about what I do upstairs there in the hooking role. It's nearly as bad as 5'8" this year at the moment. There's no consistency or certainty really in any of the players. Although Harry Grant's going along all right, so I can't really complain. But he does strike my interest. I must say, Isaiah Katoa, for a super coach player who was such a bad choice to start the year last year, and we were all spewing and got off him as fast as we could because we all started with him.
Yeah.
Man, what a turnaround! Like he is the real deal. I think he's the one that's really turning this team around and getting those backs going into the holes that they are. And so yeah, big hats off to Katoa.
It's been a big turn from last season, mate. He's been outstanding.
Yeah.
Another one to keep an eye on for round 13. Just wait a bit. Is Jermaine Osako. He's another one who's going to drop a ton of cash too. But looking at his scores, Brad, though, like this year alone, even when they're scoring big points, he's not getting much.
No. Well, the Bostock is just demanding so much ball on that side, and a lot of that's Katoa's doing too because that's he's going that edge. So, just it leaves Ozako without too much. But plus, he's got who's the centre next to him, isn't it?
Oh no,
it's Avarillo.
Avarillo, sorry, yeah.
So and that's a big thing that's changed this year compared to last year. Now, last year he did not have that.
Yeah.
So this year he has a brand new centre there, and I don't think that centre's really giving him a lot of ball. You know what I mean? So I think Avarillo's demanding a lot of ball and holding it and running it. So yeah, Osako's missing out.
Although in saying that, Osako they might go to a bit more Osako this week because he's up against Tuala, whereas Bostock's up against Marzu. Who knows what's going to happen there. For those looking at Marzu, I wouldn't be going there with no Ponga. I don't care how cheap he gets. I don't think I can go there. Brad, what's your thoughts?
Not at the moment. Yeah, give it time. Yeah.
David Armstrong, just wait and see with him, guys. Who knows whether he's going to hold that spot. Just wait until he's played a couple of games first and see what happens. Kai Pearce-Paul's killing it, Brad. I know you and I both got him, I'm pretty sure. He's been impressive. Starting to look really good.
Well, he's a clear hold just about all the way through Origin period, so I could actually see him staying in the team for the entire year. Didn't cost much, so yeah, I'll be quite happy to hold him.
Yeah, and the only other thing that worries me is that still no Jack Cogger. They've still got Gamble in there, which is obviously not good.
No. What do we say?
Anything else before we move on to the last game?
No, not really. No. I think that's going to be Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think Bennett's going to have a bit of a fun time there.
Yeah. Trey Fuller, I just want to touch base on him, not classic related, but draft related. If you need a fullback and he's there, he could be a decent option for this game too. So definitely one to keep an eye on if you are scraping the barrel and didn't pick up any of the decent ones. Last game is Sunday at GIO Stadium. It's the Raiders versus the Sharks. For the Raiders, KO Weeks starts in the halves with obviously James Foggy's out. Not sure on the time yet. There was talk of 3 months, but I'm not sure what the go is there. Simi Sasaki's been named to start in the second row. Chevy Stewart stays at fullback for the Sharks. Braden Trindle, naughty boy, been done for DUI and something else as well. So he's been stood down until further notice. So Daniel Atkinson will start in the halves. Katoa returns from suspension and Sam Stonestreet drops out of the 17. I own a lot of Raiders players in this game, and I don't know if this is going to be good or bad, Brad, after last week. At least it's at home. But I'm probably not going to sell any of them just because I've got other problems to fix first.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What's your thoughts on this one? Any interest in any players in this game? I think if people are looking at a centre, obviously Mulatalo is a good option. I like Katoa as well in this game as well.
Well, look, any of the back five at Cronulla have always can turn it on. Will Kennedy's probably the most unsafe out of all of them, but Atkinson, I really can't remember too much about him. I'm going to have to now go do a bit of homework, but yeah, just to see which side he likes and what sort of ball he gets out to which side. So Tom Hazelton's been killing it. It's all really about Cronulla in this game. You know, there's not, but that being said, particularly at home, the Canberra Raiders can be a very tight unit. So I'm not expecting a blowout score.
No, I'm not.
I think Ricky's men will come and tackle them to death, like they have done in a few opposition teams this year. So get ready for Morgan Smithies, hopefully to play more minutes this week and just tackle the hell out of them.
Yeah, Ricky. Fuck me. We don't want 40 minutes this week.
No.
Obviously with Trindle out, it's great for Hines owners too, because he'll obviously be the dominant playmaker like he has been. But yeah, So any other interest in Supercoach in this game, Brad? Anyone you're interested in? I know Sasagi's in the top 10 traded in, but again, with Ricky's rule out and Whitehead floating around, I don't think I could trust bringing someone like him in, even with a negative break even.
Yeah, as I said, there are other problems that people should have to fry, whether it be their 5'8", their hooker, or the big gun halfback, or of course the Ponga problem. So but yeah, without considering a cheapie like him, that's just going to be an AE nightmare.
And obviously, Weeks is a wait and see to see how he goes as well, Brad. I don't think I'll be bringing him in yet, but he could be one to keep an eye on.
He is one to keep an eye on. His figures in New South Wales Cup are very, very good. A lot of try assists, etc. A lot of real Supercoach friendly stuff. So if that can be replicated, the guy was a dead set gun as a junior over on the Northern Beaches there. So yeah, let's just see what he brings. Hopefully he can start bringing some of that to the top level.
Who goal kicks here, Brad, for them? Is it going to be Weeks or Strange?
That's a good question. I would have thought possibly it's going to be Weeks. It certainly is a good goal kicker.
Yeah.
He has done so in the past. He even did so for Manly on a few games. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Who kicks there.
Yeah.
I can tell you, it's not going to be Josh Rapali.
Why not? Can we give it to Morgan Smithies just for a few extra points?
Well, if he is, he'll definitely become Corey Parker of the future.
Oh boy, imagine that. Far out.
Well, we're after a second row that can kick goals again, aren't we?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just wanted to do a quick shout out, Brad, to our overall leagues. Top three at the moment is Brendan Savs from the Experience Podcast, sitting in 22nd overall. Josh from Cockadoodle Do in 30th, and Amanda from Manhip in 37th. We have got basically got another one, Ashley, who's sitting in 69th, in the top four as well. So well done, guys. Great effort. And I think we had a high score of Shane, my mate Shane, who pumped out a 13.51 this week as well. So well done to Shane. Great score this week. Yeah. So well done, guys. And then
well done.
On those off the bench League 4, which has been run by, I believe it's Guy, is 64th overall. They're leading the off the bench leagues at the moment.
Don't forget, if you want to be eligible for any of those prizes, you got to be a member of Bluebet. If you do sign up for a Bluebet account, give us send a message through here to the admins here, and we will make sure you get a little present along with your signing up. A bonus. Let us know that you are a member of Bluebet, and that's the way you're eligible for those lovely main prizes. Yeah.
And a big thank you to our sponsors, Bluebet, as usual. Thanks to Brett and the guys. Appreciate everything you guys do for us. And as we said on the podcast the other night, we just missed another multi, unfortunately. So close to winning another $300. So we're close. But yeah, we're in the right direction. So hopefully we can jag a couple more decent ones this year and donate some more money to some good charities that need a bit of help. So
all right.
Yeah.
Anything else there, Ross?
No, that's it for me. I'm good. Done.
Yeah, that's it. Now we can go hit the trade button and go scratching around trying to change our minds about 20 times. Or if you're Tim, shout out to Tim, you'll be changing your mind about 200 times.
I've got to go do some articles now. I've got to go drop my team list Tuesday article and do my buy, hold, sell. So keep an eye for those ones, guys. I'll be on the page in around about an hour or so.
Yeah,
Don't forget, Brad
your
put his article up yesterday as well. So have a look at that. Some really good stuff there. So well done on those ones, Brad. So thanks for jumping on, Brad, as always. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys Sunday night for the round 8 wrap. Until then, have a good week and good luck.
All right, guys. Sunday night and catch you later. Six, we'll get off the live. All right.